a few years ago. Before I had any real friends and before I started to live this adventurous life, I used to be this guy. And the guy that you just saw on the screen used to be a very odd specimen. You know, what I used to do back in the day, which this was around 2020, right? So quarantine times, I used to be sucked into playing video games. I wasn't even in high school back then. I didn't have that many true friends. I have a lot of online friends though. The only thing that I'd be up to is I would be wasting my time trying to escape from this lonely reality. And this continued all the way till I started high school, because when I entered high school and I started to see how people were living their lives, I started to see those massive friend groups, I started to see those fun things that they were up to. I wanted to be part of that. And to become part of that, I started to try to fit my way around other people. You know, I never really bothered with what I wanted to do. Sure, I would still play video games every single day, but I didn't really knew what I wanted to do with my life. So I didn't bother accepting for whatever the other guys came up with, right? I was a people pleaser. Every time people said, let's do this, let's do that, I didn't have a reason to reject them, right? I was just doing whatever the crowd wanted to do. And this worked at first. You know, once I found those few people who I felt decently comfortable around, this is when I turned into a class clown. This is where what's the word? This is where the personality of this class clown, as I said, right? Where all I would do is I would just do lots of weird, unfunny shit just to get other people to laugh. That became part of my personality. That became part of who I was back then. It was hard for me to not act that way. I failed to realize that most of the time people were laughing at me instead of with me. But all I wanted to see back then was that fake smile from somebody, right? That laughter. I didn't realize the initiative behind that laughter. I didn't care that, as I said once again, they were making fun of me, not laughing with me, that I struggled, you know? And even when I would come back home, I would be dealt with a choice. Do I want to, A, play video games with the same people who I don't even feel right being around, or go back to being on my own, which didn't really feel nice either? What I have failed to realize back then is that I wasn't trying to live my own story. I was trying to become the side plot to somebody else's life. I never bothered doing the things that I wanted to do. Even when there was that point in time in which I started to have my own interests, in which there were things that I wanted to do myself, I never bothered because I was either afraid of judgment or I never had the courage to go out for these things, right? Back when I was around 14, not even 15, right? I was around 14 years old. I was into skateboarding. This used to be a big hobby for mine. I wanted to learn kick flips. I wanted to learn all of these things. And I was dedicated. I used to skate almost every single day, and it was my one and only hobby. But I had that beaten out of my head because every time I would be at the skate park, there would always be those few little kids, right? Those same little bitches that would trash talk me beforehand. They got I don't even know how to say it. Fuck it, I'm not gonna cut this shit out in this video. They just had whatever the reason to make fun of me, right? And because I was way weaker back then, because I didn't have that mental strength, I listened to that and I gave up on that hobby. A few months after that, I picked up basketball. Basketball, same thing. I fell in love with it. This was my one and only hobby. Once I fall in love with doing something, that's the only thing my mind can think about. It's the same thing with this channel. Once I started uploading, all I could think about is uploading, right? And with both of these things, with basketball and with YouTube, I've had so many people who are trying to pull me down. I've had so many people who are trying to make fun of me, to nibble onto something that I said, because they didn't understand the vision that I had in my own mind. See, I'm gonna get religious here, you know? Maybe you've noticed that or not, but This is the only way that I can explain it. God put that idea for you only in your head, not in anybody else's. And it is only you who can make that shit come to reality, because nobody else has that vision. So when you try to listen to what others have to say, when you try to fit in with the crowd instead of following what you want to do, this is how you push further and further away from fulfillment. This is how you find those shitty friends who you can't even resonate with. This is how you end up in these terrible places where you don't even want to be. But yeah, I have friends now, friends. Fuck that, honestly. It was only when I stopped being around those people and I started to focus on myself that I actually lived the life that I wanted. This is how I became my best version of self. This is how I achieved so many different things. Listen, I was giving out awards by my school for the shit that I've done. I have friends who would die for me, and I'll die for them too. And it wasn't because I kept chasing these fucking people. No. It was because I started to write my own story. It is because I started to focus on doing the things that I should be doing. It is when I took care of my insecurities. It is when I kept doing those things. It is when I kept playing basketball, even though everybody told me I shouldn't. It was when I kept uploading on YouTube, even though I knew that a lot of people would try to take this shit down. It was when I actually took care of myself. It is when I took care of who I am that I started to make progress. If I never started to weightlift, if I never started learning how to fight, I would have stayed being the same little insecure twig that I was in the past. But because I lived that lifestyle, that's how I was able to attract these people into my life. Because you're not able to pinpoint who's going to be your best friend exactly. You can't pinpoint that. You can't just walk into a crowd of people and immediately know who's going to be your best friend till the day you die. You can't do that, Time is the only thing who can get that answered for you. It is only the trials and tribulations that you go with these people that prove whether if they're real or not. I've met my best friends within struggle. See, I've had this one friend. We don't really talk anymore, but the times that I've spent with this person were very valuable, right? And I remember back in the day, we were just buddies. We would just go on the basketball court, right? We didn't really do much besides that, but we went on a bike ride together and we got caught in a thunderstorm. This was a solid 10 kilometers away from my hometown, and we were in the middle of a forest. A forest is the last place where you want to be during a thunderstorm, right? Because trees are pretty damn tall. They are much more likely to get hit with lightning than you are because you are shorter, right? And we are out there like cycling through this bitch. We are like, we're pushing really hard to get out of there. We're going on a path and we don't even know where we are. And we can see the sky around us turning purple. We can literally hear the thunderstorms hitting. We can feel the ground shaking. The sky was completely purple. We were scared that we're gonna die. Usually I'm like a chill guy in my videos. Today I'm getting really like pissed off at this shit. But I'm being authentic here. Those are the emotions that I feel, that I connect, that I've attached to these experiences. And it was only in that moment that we knew that if we were to die, we're gonna die together. And those hard experiences are the reason as to why I became best friends with that person. Because now we have a story to tell. Now we know what we are like within hardship. We're not just friends for the good times. We are friends for when we actually need each other. That's what you need to understand. Don't go around trying to force people to become your best buddies, because the more you try to do it, the further away you start to push from that. It is only when you take matters into your own hands. It is only when you stop being the side character to somebody else's life, as stupid as it may sound, because alpha male, sigma, whatever. It is only when you take matters into your own hands and you live your life for yourself and nobody else that you will attract these people into your life. And they will come at the right time. The more you try to force it, the further you get away from it. It's just the way it is, my friend. If the message that you were given in this video was valuable to you and you would like to develop yourself, become the best version of yourself, try and stop being a fucking bitch, right? Because honestly, most of your insecurities just come down to you being a bitch. I'm sick of being this nice guy in front of the camera because I actually want to help you, okay? Join the Discord server. You won't find a brotherhood like mine anywhere else on this platform. I mean, you can try. You can go out there, join these fucking real worlds, libraries of Adonis, suck my fucking dick. You can go do all of that if you want to. But if you really want to guarantee that you're going to improve your life, when you join my Discord server, I will be the first person to welcome you there. I'm not a fucking bot behind the camera. If you want to actually take your chance on improving your life, trust me, this is the right place. If you truly relate to who I am, which if you made it to this point of the video, I assume you do, don't waste your time out here. Just get off this platform. Actually, just click the link. Whatever. You don't even have to. Just if you actually made it here, you know what you should be doing. I just want this to be a message. Damn. I'm really out here screaming to a camera like a fucking Andrew Tate wannabe. Whatever. It is what it is, right? You can click all the videos if you want. You can subscribe as well. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. So keep working, brother, and take care.